Hello everyone, welcome on my channel. My name is Julia and today I will be doing my mid-year freak out tag. It's my first mid-year freak out tag here on YouTube because it has not yet been a year that I've been filming and posting, so I'm hugely excited about it. Without further ado, let's begin. This year I've only read 15 books so far, which is not much for me, but given that it was my last year at school, I think that's quite a good result. Anyways, let's start with the questions. Best book you've read so far in 2024? That will be my current read, to be honest. It is The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, and it really touched my soul. That's why I love it so. The descriptions are brilliantly evocative. It is easy to sympathize with characters who are so deep and interesting that many good characters from other books really do seem two-dimensional as compared to them. Best sequel you've read so far? That will be Anne of the Island. Not because it was such a great read. I really had some questions to the plot and to the behavior of the main character, but it was definitely better than all the other sequels that I've read so far. So let's nominate Anne of the Island. New release you haven't read yet, but want to. As it happens, I usually discover books a couple of decades after they are published, so I don't think that such a book exists. Favorite reread? It is The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, which I read, I think, not in April, in February or March as required reading for my English literature class. I had first read it when I was 11, and back then I didn't understand it, not at all, but when I read it this year, I really appreciated the writing style and enjoyed the idea behind the writing. So the short story became an eye-opener to me, and now I think that I should read more of Edgar Allan Poe, though I used to think that he's not just my cup of tea. Genre you've been loving or reading the most? No surprise here, it will be classics plus fantasy, the two genres that I love most and so read most, that's obvious. Biggest disappointment? That's Dark Dawn, the last book in the Chronicles of Nevernight, or are they Nevernight Chronicles? I honestly don't remember, by Jake Kristoff. It became an unexpected disappointment for me because the first two books were great. Like, the first was even better than the second, but both of them were cool and I enjoyed them. But here I first of all hated the love triangle, and the whole plot wasn't up my alley either. The story with the main character being chosen by the gods to redress some wrong and her destiny being to save an ancient god, it was a little bit cringy, very strange given what had happened in the first two books, and overall not enjoyable. It was difficult to understand and it didn't even feel fitting in the setting and the plot. Apart from it, the bonus chapter at the end of the book, I'd rather I had never started reading it really. So the series left a sour taste in my mouth, although I hadn't expected it. Biggest surprise? It was La Demoiselle by Anne Guyon, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, because it is once again French, and my French is not just bad, it's non-existent. I've never had classes or anything, so I just pronounce it the way I believe it should be pronounced, and I'm not sure if it is right. I expected this book to be a regular novel for women, if you see what I mean. It ought to have been interesting and captivating, but nothing more than that. Whereas in reality, it turned out to be much more. So it was a very pleasant surprise for me. Favorite new author? For sure, it is Stanislav Lem. I read Tales of Perks and the Pilot by him while I was on vacation with my parents in Turkey in June. And although it took me slightly more time to read than I had expected, because it turned out to be more difficult to get through it, I still hugely enjoyed it. And now I think I want to read more of Lem, Solaris, for example, which is, I think, his most acclaimed work. Newest favorite character? That's definitely Norma from the Gems. This anxious girl is brilliant. She's so unspeakably relatable, and she is depicted with such humor from the author that it's impossible not to love her. And my thank you to the authors here, because the book itself was really great too. I'm really waiting for the second book in the series to come out. Book that made you cry. There wasn't such a book this year yet, but there might be later. Most beautiful book you've bought or received this year? I think it will be the same book that I've already mentioned, Mademoiselle by Engel Hyun, not because it's such an amazing edition. I mean, it's really nice, it's aesthetic and everything, but it's nothing really special. But the thing is that I haven't splashed out much money on books yet this year, because I was really busy with my exams, and big purchases of beautiful books still lie ahead. We move on to the book that made me happy, and this is The Noted Girl in the School by Ines Blyton, which I read right after the exam season. For some reason, books about children aged 11 or 12 who attend a boarding school always make me calm and happy and satisfied. So this was just what the doctor ordered back then, and I'm really glad that I read it, because it left me truly happy. Favorite book to movie adaptation you saw this year? It was Les Miserables, once again, if I pronounce it correctly, which I watched in February. I have never read the book, to be honest, but the adaptation was great anyway. It's marvelous, and these songs are marvelous. Well, it's a musical. It has stuck with me, and I think that I will be watching it at some point. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? That last question, and I don't have many books to name, because I try not to set goals that are too ambitious for myself. So I have just 5, I think. The first is The Center of Gravity by Alexei Polyarinov, which was a gift from my friend, who is now really eager to hear from me if I enjoy it or not. Then it's his Dark Materials series. I reread the first book, The Northern Lights, last year, so I'm not rereading it again, but I need to finish this series and reread The Subtle Knife and the third book, the name of which I can't recall, this year. And the last one will be Overachievers, The Secret Lives of Driven Kids by Alexandra Robbins. That's a non-fiction book about, well, obviously driven kids, someone like me. I was recommended to read it here on YouTube. Well, I mean, I heard about this book from a booktuber in their video, and I decided that it's something I really need to read. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, because that's it with the Midyear Freak Out tag for now. If you want to see me again talking about life or books, please subscribe to my channel, Julia Caesar. And bye!